Your neck. Show us what you did.
I popped my neck.
How did you pop it?
Like this.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Okay, no more like that. Now, Linda, let's see. I'm going to show you something. Okay, now, bring your feet up, Linda. Can you see which one's short? Can you see it? On the
Yeah.
camera?
Yeah.
The right one's short.
Is it the right one? I can't tell. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
This
yeah.
one here.
Yeah. I'm looking through a viewfinder.
All right, now put your hand down. Okay, Linda, you've got pain right there.
Ow.
That's pain, right?
Yes.
Okay, not so much pain here.
No.
The pain is here.
Right.
All right, now I'm going to show you how to handle this, and you're not going to go popping your neck like that anymore. We're going to get it well, okay? This hand on tummy. Now we're going to tap in here for energy.
Okay.
The minute you touch this shoulder, right here. Remember when I told you I put my hand like this and the busted lip,
Right.
and the water come out of my lip? Well, that much energy moves it out. Bring your feet up, and they'll be straight. Look here. Straight, can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, drop your hands. Bring it back up. Cook again, right? See it?
Yeah, got
Okay.
it.
Okay. Hand on tummy. Hand up here. Bring your feet up. And straight again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that fantastic? Now, hand on tummy. Come up here. Now we're going to have 7 times, starting right here. You're going to come down right into there. See, and it hurts right there. That's where the pain is, right? So come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now that's pressure, say it. Pressure. Now we're going to go massage. Say massage.
Massage.
Massage. Now you're going to start like this. You're going to massage it 7 times. As you rotate your shoulder slowly, like this. 1, count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now stroke. 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now switch hands. Do the same thing on the other side. From here to here. 7 times. Pressure set. Pressure count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now massage. Just go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now stroke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now put your feet up. Now be straight.
Yeah.
Now, isn't that fantastic?
Amazing.
Now, how often? The first day?
Once every
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
But it's every 5 minutes for a while. But the first 3 or 4 times. Okay, every 5. Every half hour. Every 5 minutes for a while. Keep that going. Go in there and milk, activate the lymphatic system. We're going to pull out the water, pull out the dead cells and poisons, and we're going to wash the cells, feed the cells. That's right. We get that going in, and then every 15 minutes the first day. How often the second day?
Once every half hour.
Half hour the second day. Third day.
Once an hour.
And then every several times a day for several months to help the weak spot heal. Now you do that, and no more of this other stuff.
No more popping my neck.
No more popping, okay?
Okay.
Good, thank you. Okay. All right. Wait a minute. Would you tell Dennis tell us what your problem's been? What did you do with your foot here? You broke your foot, did you?
Well, I dislocated and broke my right ankle, and I haven't got on a lymphocyzer because a little bit of effort or a little bit of exercise the wrong way makes that ankle really sore. So I'm kind of doubtful about this at the moment.
Okay,
But,
Dennis.
at your
Okay, now
request.
I'm asking Dennis to get up there and see how that feels.
Yeah, and that's a little bit on the sore side.
It's on the sore side
Yeah.
right now?
And that was my concern about trying to get on this in the first place.
Okay,
the fact that
Dennis.
my ankle is sore.
Okay, now Dennis, I want you to sit in that chair. I told you I was going to do something with this. I'm going to try something with you, and we're going to see if it works, okay?
Okay.
Okay, you sit in the chair. I've had a whole room full of MS patients, Dennis, and they've done this, and they thought of what we're going to do now. We're going to put your feet up on the mat, and I'm going to come over and bounce you, okay? Or listen, I'm going to let you do it.
Bounce him?
You just go over and take your shoes off, and you just go over and bounce him. Let's see. You're Linda, right?
Right.
Okay, Linda's going to do the bouncing, and Dennis is going to... Okay, Linda, you do the bouncing now. And Dennis, you put your hands up on your chest.
That's right.
Now, with your hands on your chest, there's enough energy moving up and down between the knees, and I've A whole room full of MS patients doing this. And they can direct the energy into the arms. I've had them take pain out of the arms, take pain out of the legs. But now, Dennis, I want you to just think of your right leg, okay? Think of your right ankle, because that's what, it's the right ankle that hurts?
Right.
Okay, just think of the right ankle. Right ankle, right ankle, right ankle. You're activating the lymphatic system. You wash the cells, purify the cells, feed the cells. Just think old toxins out, new fluids in. Old toxins out, new fluids in. If you want to take a few deep breaths, Dennis, you can. Just think of the right ankle. Take about 3 breaths and hold the third one. Okay, just think of that right ankle. Okay, let's stop. Okay, now Linda, you get off, and Dennis, you get up on that thing, and let's see what happens here.
Okay, it was actually starting to feel cool.
You mean you can feel a cooling sensation in your ankle?
Yeah, right in the ankle there.
Okay. How you doing there, Dennis?
Golly.
I'm doing good.
Hey, look at that. Hey, Dennis.
Huh?
How's your ankle?
Still there. I mean, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt? You're kidding.
No, it doesn't hurt.
Hey, fantastic. How's that, Dennis?
I've never seen him on the toes.
You never could do it?
I'd have never done this before.
Never.
Never.
Isn't that fantastic?
6 months it's been broken.
Yeah.
6 months?
Yeah.
What'd you say, Linda?
6 months it's been broken.
6 months. Isn't that something? Well, Dennis, that's fantastic. Well, listen, we'll check with you later on this, okay? Now, Linda, I want you to say what you just said again.
I haven't seen him on his toes for 6 months.
For 6 months. Here we have Elizabeth, right?
Yes.
Elizabeth, what's been your problem?
Pain on my left side.
Right in there. Right into there. Okay. Well, let's, by the way, where are we at today?
Ventura Center for Healing Sciences.
The Ventura Center for Healing
In
Sciences.
Tarzana, California.
In what?
Tarzana, California.
In Tarzana, California. That's in the phone number here is what?
818-343-3571.
818-343-3571. Okay. Okay, now, Elizabeth, say again what your problem is.
I have pain, probably caused by hernia, right into this region.
All right. Okay, would you lay down there? And we're going to, okay, now, I'm wondering, could you lay down the other direction? We're going to have to, because you're going to be standing, if you help her there, will you? His helper. Helper, yeah. That would, talk about pain, yeah. Okay, now turn the other way. Okay, yeah, because we're going to be doing...
I'm going to be standing in your way if I'm not.
Yes. Okay, now you go over... You're going to want to... It's on the right-hand side. That's it. You get on that side. That's it. There we go. Now put her left fingertips on your left fingertips. Now, cone your right fingers and put it into the area of pain.
Okay.
Now, you put his hand where the pain is, Elizabeth. Elizabeth?
You put his hand.
Take your other hand and put his hand where the pain is.
Okay.
Elizabeth, find the pain.
Okay.
Now you put your hand on his, Elizabeth. Okay? Or Elizabeth, if you want to, you cone your right hand and put your fingers right where the pain is. Take your right hand, put in there, and let him put his hands on yours. Now, when I do this, I like to put my right hand where the pain is, because sometimes I can feel things move, and it's exciting, okay? Now, this is called the bioelectric pinpoint technique. It's one of the most powerful pain techniques that there is. We're magnifying the energy now from the fingertips, going into the hands, and the thought waves can be used also here to put energy in. But now, let's see, your name, Linda. You take the camera now, and if you'll just sort of keep it on there, okay? You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm going to come over, and I'm going to put energy into that area also, because I'm going to help speed this thing up. We're going to put the energy with a bioelectric energy field and throw it in. And I want you to tell me if you feel anything when we do this, okay?
That's cool.
Feels cool? That's what happened to me when I had my hernia operation. And at 6 hours after the operation, I got up and I did back bends in the bed and got up and walked without pain. But my son and I were alone. And my son would do the bioelectric pinpoint. and then he'd come back and do this. And he would do this until he was tired. Now we're going to concentrate, okay? Energy going in. The bioelectric energy field, it builds. I can feel it build. It gets heavier. Can you feel it? So cool. Speak a little louder so they can hear you.
So cool.
It's cool, okay? That's what I feel.
And it's very hot in here, by the way.
Okay. This is hard work. And you come like this. I probably just put my energy right into there. Put my hands up on yours. This is what my son would do to me. And he would get tired. He'd come and we'd hold it. I'd put our hands together. And we would come back to here, see. When he got tired, he'd put his hand in here. And then we'd come like this. Now we were by ourselves. And we would do this until he got rested. And then after he was rested, we'd go back. And he'd throw the energy in again. We did this for 6 hours. We didn't quit. And in 6 hours' time, after the hernia operation, I was doing back bends in the bed, raising myself up ahead, back bends, and I got up and walked without pain. That's a lot of work, but it's worth it. We had a young boy with a steel bar down his back, and he couldn't stand, he couldn't sit. He come to see me, and I said, "Can you lay down?" He said, "Yes." And he laid down, and tears come out of his eyes. I said, "I thought you could lay down." He said, "Can't rehearse." And he stood up. I couldn't touch him. I told his partner to throw the energy around his whole body and throw it into him. He stood up. A week later, he comes back. His partner's arms were shot. But this pain is not gotten out of his back. I called him 4 years later. The bar's still there. Pain's still gone. 1 week, and nobody touched him. All he did was this. That's all. The little boy smashed his finger in the back of the doors. The wife held his fingers up. I threw the energy in his fingers like that. 3 minutes, pain was gone. Now, how's that feel? How's that feel, sweetheart? How's it feel? Feel.
Oh, good.
How's it feel?
No pain.
No pain. Really? Now would you sit up? Okay. Is it really? To feel
Yeah,
it? It feels good?
Yeah.
Well, praise the Lord. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's to say, Linda.
I thought maybe we should have on tape proof that Dennis did break his ankle the 1st of September, and this is just after the 1st of March. So no one wonders if this wasn't made up, and he definitely has scars to prove it.
Okay. Let's see your foot, Dennis.
This scar on this side.
Let's see it.
He has screws
there's-
on the inside and plates holding it together on the outside.
Screws.
On this side here, I got a plate that runs from here to here.
There's a plate from there to there.
And there's the scar.
There's the scar.
This side.
I can see the scar plainly. Now let me see the other side again. Now show me what's over there.
Well, the scar from here to here, I've got 2 screws holding this bone into place here. It's split. And I have 2 screws in there holding that in place.
Wow.
So, I done a good job.
And that's what you was living on a while ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what you just got to jumping up and down and it had the pain out.
Right.
Isn't that fantastic? Well, Dennis, praise the Lord. How often are you going to do that the first day, Dennis?
Oh, well, every 5 minutes for
For-
about the first 30 or 40 minutes.
Okay.
And then at 50.
How often do we have to do this to keep that in place? Write down this page number. Go to 7 plus 1. Write down the number. Bottom page 62, top of 63. Say it. Bottom page 62, top of 63. I'm going to read the note at the bottom and see if you understand what we're talking about here now. When I have a weak spot. Okay, now it doesn't matter if it's the liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, the pancreas, the lungs, the heart, the hips, the neck, or wherever it may be, okay? When I have a weak spot, to keep the blood proteins and keep the water out of there, keep the water out and the oxygen in, so the body can heal. Are you understanding?
Yes.
To keep the water out and the oxygen in, so the body can heal. I must continue to do these self-help techniques even after I start to feel good. In other words, just because the pain comes out doesn't mean you can quit. All that's telling you is you're getting oxygen in there. Now, if I have a problem, and I had a hip problem like that, the lower back was down, I would do that every 5 minutes for the first few times. In other words, keep it in place. Don't let it drop down. And then every 15 minutes the first day, say it. Every 15 minutes the first day, every 30 minutes the second day, every 30 minutes the second day, every hour the third day, and several times a day thereafter, for several months, to help the weak spot heal. Is it making sense? Okay. If you've got to keep it up, you've got to keep, just like putting electrodes down the spine, they're using these electrodes, we have to replace the electrodes. Can you see it? Listen to me. We have to replace the electrodes. We've got to keep the water out, keep the oxygen in, and if we keep those life processes on, it will heal. True? Let me just tell you one story, and you keep that. We'll keep it going for a while. I had my brother's wife's mother. She had arthritis for 10 years. And when I saw her, her legs were solid right out here. They had to help her stand up and sit down. She could not stand up and sit down by herself. They took her to a meeting. When she come back crying in pain. Okay? They called me over. When I got there, she's crying in pain, and she was just sitting there saying, "Oh, my legs, oh, my legs." And I says, "I've got a theory how to take the pain out of those legs." She says, "What do you want to do?" I says, "I want to put my hands on it, I can stroke it." She says, "We'll try it." I put my hands, oh, she screamed. I mean, not the slightest touch coming this direction. I could not touch it. Barely touched down this right here. Now we're moving lymphatics, and I want you to know that no matter which way you move, it will move it. And I started stroking. After a while, I says, "How's this?" "Oh," she says, "I can take that now too." I said, "Fantastic, we're making headway." And in about 20 minutes, she started to smile. She said, "The pain's coming out, it's coming out." And boy, she started to smile, I started to smile. And pretty quick, we were going full length on those legs. In about 30 minutes, she says, "I'm going to sit up." And she sat up, and her legs come to right angles without pain. She says, "Look at that." Why, she says, "I'm going to cross my legs." And as she crossed her legs, she shouted with joy. She says, "Look at here, look at here, look at here." And I says, "Wow, it works." You know. Now, what if you'd have done that? You got excited? Sure. Boy, I said, "Wow. We're watching this with our own eyes." And I said, "We're going to go down the street and tell somebody this lady had her legs frozen solid, and in 30 minutes she's going like this." I said, "Boy," I said, "nobody's going to believe this. We're watching it here." And we got excited. We took her in the other room. Oh, she says, "I can't get on my tummy." Pretty quickly, had on her tummy. We were stroking her whole body. It's like fast stroke. About another 30 minutes, she sat up and she threw her legs on and off the bed. She said, "I'm going to get up and walk." This woman got to walk without pain, without crutches, for the first time in 10 years, and we did it in 1 hour's time. Is your understanding increasing? Yes or no?
Yes.
Is your faith increasing?
Yes.
Can we work a miracle?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is what we're talking about. Now, let me tell you, the only people I've seen get well quickly are those who have been doing good for a long time, mentally and nutritionally and physically. She was living these laws. She was doing these principles the best she knew how, trying to get well. I believe she just had those proteins out there, trapped out there, and all we need is put in the energy, and she didn't have enough poisons in her body to reproduce her problems. Can you understand, if the body's full of poisons, that the poisons can reproduce the problem? And you're going to have to purify your body for a while to get the poisons out of there before you're going to get well. Can you see it? So the cleaner the system is, the faster people can get well. See, you have to work with that and go purify that body through the lymphatic system. This is the process of healing the body through the lymphatic system. It's called the art of lymphosizing. That is all the laws, mentally, nutritionally, and physically. What we have to do to keep the water and those blood proteins out of there and keep that circulating so the oxygen can get in and turn the life processes on that God made so the body can heal. We're not healing a thing. We're just moving the water out. Now, are you understanding? Yes or no? Is your faith increasing? Can we work miracles? Now, listen, I've got to tell now how we're going to raise up a baby. What I believe is going to work when we take a baby from the mother's womb and raise it up without disease. To explain this, I'm going to tell a story of the little baby who's 11 months old down in Pennsylvania. It crawled into a septic tank. The little sister saw that. She'd run inside the house and said, "Mama, the baby fell in." She went out screaming for help, and the septic tank was divided, and they didn't know which side the baby went in on. They tried rakes, they tried boards, they tried everything to find something. They couldn't find it. 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes went by. The mother was frantic. She just ran someplace hoping the baby wasn't there. Finally, one of the men says, "I'm going in." Now, the last time I went to I saw this family. The whole family came, and they told their story. Each one of them told the story. And the man who jumped in, he says he went in and he felt something hit his knee. He grabbed a hold and pulled up the baby. Now the little girl who saw the baby, with no color in that baby, she ran to her mother and she says, "Mama, the baby's dead." The mother come running. And instinctively, by the way, there's also proven Dr. Zelikowski from Israel. Breathing deeply moves lymphatics, I forgot to tell you. But I thought the mini trampoline, bouncing up and down moves lymphatics. I told Zelikowski in Israel about this. He said, send a trampoline to me. I'll do research on it. I did, the mini lymphocyzer. It took him 2 years, but he documented moving up and down activates that lymphatic system. When a baby cries, nobody tells you to, you bounce it, true or false? You bounce that baby. It is as instinctive for you to bounce that baby as it is for the baby to nurse, true or false?
True.
Bouncing moves lymphatics. Say it. Bouncing moves lymphatics. So say bouncing washes the cells. Bouncing washes the cells. So bouncing is a general washer. Bouncing is a general washer. And that old horseback rider going across the plains, he just lymphocyzed across the plains, true? And all those wagons and everything else they did, okay? You got the idea?
Bouncing across.
Okay, across the plains, okay. They just lymphocyzed across the plains. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, now, I've got to get the idea. This bouncing moves lymphatics. Now, when the baby gets big enough, as soon as its feet hits the lap, it wants to jump. It wants to jump. We want it to sit. It wants to jump on the bed. It wants to jump on the couch. What do we say? Get off the bed. Get off the couch. Sit still. Don't move. Right? And then when you come to this house, you come to the door. Don't you say anything. Don't you yell. You be quiet. You be here. What are we doing to our children? If you take that little baby and you run that child, who gets tired first? Mama. That's right. That child will run you down. The Tarahumars in northwest Mexico got smart. They took the little babies and started running. And when they grew up, guess how far they could run? Our longest race is 26 miles. They could run 150 to 200 miles. How far is that? 150 to 200 miles. That's from sunup to sunup with no fatigue in their body. They asked the Tarahumars to go to a 26-mile marathon. That's our longest race. The chief went and picked out 3 girls, said, go run it. He said, how come 3 girls? He said, 26 miles has got to be raced for the women. I mean, I've talked to a man, went down there, his car broke down. They said, sweet, says, run it down to Mexico City, get some parts for you. Oh, he said, that's 150 miles away. That's okay, they don't mind going, okay? Now that's the Tarahumars, okay? Well, you mean God meant what he said when he said we should take up wings like eagles, we should be able to run and not be weary and walk and not faint? You mean we should do this body is electrical, you get the generator turned on and we should run? Is that exciting? Now, we're just beginning to understand this thing, what we do to the baby. Now, the mother, understanding this, okay, she comes to the baby now, and we talked about stroking, moves lymphatics, right? Well, she went to the baby, and those in the room said you should have seen how she worked on that child. They tried to do mouth-to-mouth on the baby, okay, but there was very little response. She grabbed the baby and started stroking that child. She just grabbed it, and she rubbed it, and she stroked it, and I said, you should have seen. And the mother said in the room, on this last trip, she says, I just felt like I had to put some life back in that baby. Nobody told her. Instinctively, just like you bounce the baby, she grabbed that baby and rubbed it, and stroked it. Now say, wash the cells. Say it. Wash the cells, feed the cells, purify the cells. She brought the water from the bloodstream down through there with the oxygen and minerals and nutrients, and that baby lived. Are you beginning to understand? Okay, it came out of the hospital blind. Permanent brain damage, the doctor said, after several weeks in the hospital. When they got this baby home from the hospital, after they were in for several weeks, what they did is they got a mini trampoline, and they laid this baby on that mini trampoline and started to bounce that baby, and they bounced it for 5 days straight. They bounced it and they stroked it. They bounced and they bounced it. Now they put a deal on the machine, on the ceiling, made a noise. It's up and made a little noise up there, and all at once the little girl noticed that little boy's eyes were following that. She ran out in the barn. Said, Mama, I think the baby can see. And they dropped their milkers out there milk. They dropped their milk because they came running inside the house. And lo and behold, the eyesight was restored. They took it back in the hospital. The doctors and nurses gathered around. They give it every test they could give it. They says it can't be the same child. It's impossible. There was no brain damage. 1 week. Eyesight restored and no brain damage. Are you beginning? Is your understanding increasing? Is your faith increasing? When I went back on this last trip, I talked about that boy for years. Now he's between 8 and 9 years old, and when I put my eyes on this boy, and I put my arms around him, I loved him. Something happened to me. I talked about him for years, but I saw that boy, and he was perfect. Nothing wrong with that child. And you know, something happened. And I got thinking about this, and I said, you know, what would happen if we took a baby in the mother's womb, and the mother started bouncing? I've got a man I know, and his mother bounced that baby for 9 months. While she was pregnant, she bounced that baby, and that baby walked in 6 months, 6 months of age. He had his equilibrium and everything. He was a strong baby, the strongest baby they ever had, and she worked that baby. Now, if you can imagine now, bouncing the baby, okay, plus putting energy down that child, when the baby's born, if the parents have weaknesses, the babies are born with them, right? So if we know that, we start working those babies' bodies and stroking the baby. If we can restore eyesight and brain damage with that, does it make sense that we could raise that child without disease? Yes or no? Now that's exciting. Especially if we go learn to go, say it, sin. Or we can purify the body. We can purify this body. And we can live without disease. And that's exciting. Okay, you get that done. Listen, okay. Let me ask you a question. Can the knowledge which we've heard here tonight, can you purchase it? Can money buy it? Isn't this true wealth? It's true wealth. To learn what we have to do. To live, to be able to conquer disease and live and die in peace with no poor among us. And it happens when we live those 3 laws. That's it. We don't fight nor do quarrel. We don't define our body. And everybody works. Now, if somebody can show me, and let me ask you, could we raise up a people and bring people together regardless of race, color, church?